White men are the mental health problem in this country. Jim Crow, white men. Slavery, white men. Segregation, white men. Concentration camps for Asian Americans in the late 30s and early 40s. 1,800 people died. How many black people were hung from trees? 8,000. Let me guess. Oh yeah, once again, white men. The gun violence? 98% are men. 84% are white men, U.S. citizens. I see a trend. How about the Middle Passage where 1.2 African Americans died? Oh yeah, once again, white men. Why was the Second Amendment written? Let me think. So black people couldn't have their freedoms. So the white men could once again control them. Who's in the White House? An adjudicated rapist, convicted felon white man. Wow, I see a trend. But somehow Americans are just begging to blame a trans person, a non-white person. See, what happened to George Floyd is symbolic of what's happening in this country. The white man putting his knee on the neck of a non-white person and sitting there in broad daylight with the balls to say, who's going to stop me? And that's what we're seeing right now. So that's the question that we need to ask ourselves as a fucking country. Who's going to stop them? Because I'm just one person here. Now, I don't know about you, but I got friends and family that are sitting behind the white privilege, and I want nothing to do with them. Not because of who they are, because their lack of action. Martin Luther King said, history is going to remember not the people that did bad things, but the good people that stood by and did nothing. Because once again, the white man is hiding behind their privilege while everybody else is getting treated like absolute fucking garbage. Because it doesn't affect me. You don't even want to go on a general strike to stop fascism. Oh, I can't work. Oh, I got a job. White man is the mental health crisis in the United States of America. It has been since day one. When you look at the majority of them, what do you see? A bunch of insecure little wannabe alpha males with small penises that need big trucks and guns to feel like a real man. That's the real problem, is toxic masculinity. That the white man feels unable to shit on everyone's rights just because of how they look. It's ironic, isn't it, that they demonize black people because they're black on the outside, and yet their hearts are black on the inside. Isn't that ironic? And every single time we see a mass shooting, they're just salivating on the white supremacist red hatters to say, oh my gosh, it was an immigrant, it was a trans person, it was a gay people. 84% of gun violence is white men. But when it happens, like at the church the other day, what happens? Oh, thoughts and prayers. But what happened with the racist podcaster? Oh, they were just dying for it to be somebody on the left so they can just blame somebody else. And a white man. The Catholic, the church yesterday, a white man, a white man, a white man, a white man, a white man. Ahmaud Arbery, guess what? 3 white men that chased out a black guy. Breonna Taylor, oh, a white cop. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It's the same demographic. White men are the problem in this fucking country. And until we address the real mental health epidemic, which is white supremacy, built on white men controlling people, because that's how this country was designed. For 21-year-old landowning white men to shit on everybody else. This country was designed to benefit my demographic, and that is not okay. That is the original sin of this country. And until we address it, we will never be a great country, and we haven't been a great country. And if you don't like that, then you can ship.
Can we talk about how miserable white people are for a second? Like, you know that white people are miserable, right? Like, have you ever looked a white person in the eye, even if they're like a big mental health person? You just look deep down and you're like, brother, you are not happy at all. And truly, it breaks my heart. But one reason, I think, one of the main reasons that a lot of white people, a lot of us are really unhappy and miserable is because we lack internal congruence. Now, congruence is a concept we learned early in grad school to help people heal. And congruence is basically internal alignment. Values and actions are on the same page, right? Like, we accept every part of ourselves. We feel peace, security in who we are, congruence. And no matter how hard you try, you can never find internal congruence if you're not congruent with the world around you. If you're not understanding what's real and seeing reality and affirming what's true. So like white people who deny patriarchy and capitalism's negative effect and oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world, like that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally. Because to deny what's happening in real time, we have to deny certain parts of us, certain emotions, certain thoughts that come up. And the more we run for that, the more incongruent and separate we feel, the more dissonance that comes, the more miserable we are. And a lot of times we're not actually dealing with our own pain and our own reality because we're all suffering under capitalism and white supremacy. Like, it affects us different ways in intersectionality, but like, it affects us white people too. You don't think a stormtrooper in the fucking Star Wars movies hates his life? You don't think he hates being bossed around all the time? You don't think poor white people living in the empire, like in a city walls, like in a Game of Thrones, like you don't think that they're miserable under it, even though they're not miserable the most? To be congruent inside, to not be miserable anymore, it takes accepting the realities of the world, seeing how those toxic systems affect us, and then moving to actually be congruent. Because deep down, humanity has goodness at its center. So yeah, white people, we're miserable because we're not congruent, because we're denying the realities of the world, and thus denying ourselves.
Why have white Americans been afraid to start or celebrate White History Month?
Oh, there's so many reasons, but really, I think it starts in the public schools when we're little. We've just really been conditioned into this kind of suicidal tendency, culturally suicidal tendency of like hating ourselves. And so most white people that hear anything positive about white culture, history, or the white race immediately kind of have this reflexive reaction of negativity. We've been really shamed as a race and a people to not appreciate our own heritage and be able to talk about that and to talk about being proud or happy or content with our ancestors and our culture and where we come from and what we've done as a...
Hi, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your lovely girl, Beryl. Thank you so much for all of you who have been listening, watching, subscribing, sharing, reposting. And if you're new here, please ensure that you hit that subscribe button. Guess what, guys? We are at 285. We are growing stronger every day, even though it has been slow the past week. This coming week, I believe that there are bigger things that are meant to happen, and it will happen in the name of Jesus. Amen. So let's get into exactly what's going on in this video compilation. Now, this is something that it doesn't happen every day. This is something that you don't hear every day. This is something that not all white people are able to actually come forward and say it out loud. They're not bragging, they're not defending, but they're now just confessing. They're confessing about the pain, the guilt, and the misery that they've been boiling underneath the surface for generations that they have come with. They confess how miserable their lives have been in the past. They confess how miserable their lives have actually been because of the actions that they did to Black people, to other races in the past. Like I said, this is not something you hear every day. It's not. More so in this generation where we have a president who supports such acts. Yeah. So, let me not waste much of your time. Let us watch the video compilation and then feel free to share your comments. I'm gonna give you a little love heart, like, or just always know I'm reading your comments. In the meantime, please subscribe. We need to hit that 1,000 subs. In the meantime, let us just watch the commentary, video compilation. Then I will share my commentary on this. See you in a bit.
Might be a hot take, but a lot of white people are not happy. I'm Kylie, and I grew up in a very conservative area. I wanted to say that a lot of white people genuinely live some of the most miserable and isolated lives that you could even imagine. I think there are 3 reasons for this. The first is that there is just a general idea of just hyper-individualism and hoarding of resources. A lot of them are extremely stingy, don't tip well, and also don't donate to local charities. They're very isolated, and what few friends they have, their connection is built upon shared bigotry, which is obviously not a strong connection. Number 2, a lot of white people feel a sense of emptiness. They have the job, the car, the career, the kids, the Bible, but they don't feel that sense of fulfillment. I think it's because the subliminal messaging that white people get from birth is that they're so much better than everybody else. And once you're in that sort of position, you will not allow yourself to open up to other people and opportunities that would genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment. And the third reason is that a lot of white people genuinely feel like equality is the oppression of white people. That means other people getting rights means that some of ours get taken away somehow, which obviously isn't true and shows the hyper-competitive nature of being white in America.
The majority of school blank and mass blank that are happening across this country are being committed by white boys. So let me ask you this. If you're a parent, white women, what are we doing? Because this year in April, I got married, and in doing so became a bonus mom of 2 beautiful little boys. And I have to tell you, every day we're combating messaging. Every day we're working on sharing emotions, expressing anger. We're working on things as parents to ensure that we are raising emotionally healthy, mature, communicative young men in the future. So I'm really concerned that that's not happening. What I'm understanding is that yes, this is 100% a pew-pew access to pew-pew problem, but as a culture, we are raising violent human beings. The overexposure and glorification of violence in our households has to stop. You have got to get a hold of what we are showing, teaching, exposing our children to, and being better, more present parents, because this is a problem in white households. So if we are white parents, we have to do something about it.
This is why people don't trust white people, because it is peak whiteness and colonizer behavior to demand civility for a man who denies others their humanity. That's the oppressor, and we do not need to sympathize or empathize with them. And don't get me wrong, because I long for a world where there is no violence in it. But until all of us are free, none of us are free. And violence is part of the equation because of the oppressor, not the oppressed. We need to understand that violence comes in many forms, and white people need to learn it most of all. And if none of that is enough to convince you, then how about the fact that Charlie Kirk said empathy is a made-up new age word that does harm, and that is the one directive of his that I am willing to honor.
No more complaining about how hard it is to be a white guy. Do you understand how insulting that is? It's so hard to be a white guy right now. We just won the right to do what we want with our bodies 50 years ago, and it's being taken away from us today. So don't call us hysterical. We're not hysterical, okay? We're not hysterical. Your opinions on racism and sexism are irrelevant. You're not the victims of that. You're the perpetrators.
I think white people think that other people want to be them. I think they think other people want to be white. They actually think that people are looking at them ordering Charlie Kirks at Starbucks in a show of solidarity and thinking, God, I wish that was fucking me. They think people want to be like them. Bro, nobody wants to be like white people.
White people are the most miserable fucking people on the face of this fucking earth, and also the most fucking judgy. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And I know I am one of y'all, but I'm not gonna say us, because this is a part I am not part of. I'm not a miserable motherfucker. I mean, white women especially. I mean, so many women on that pew-pew post I did about MAGA Man, they're like, why do you need a pew-pew? What's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And the other thing is these women who on the post where I cuss, like, why do you have to cuss so much? Why are you cussing? And then when I chew my gum, like, why are you chewing gum? That's so disgusting. Spit that gum out. I mean, it's just bitching about some shit all the fucking time. As I learned very early on here from a black woman who said this, and I've repeated it since, if it don't apply, scroll on by. If you don't like me chewing fucking gum, if you don't like me saying fuck, if you don't like me having a pew-pew, I don't need to fucking know about it. Just scroll the fuck on. I don't care what you think about me, or me owning a pew-pew, or me chewing gum, or me saying fuck 500 times in a video. It's not your business, and I don't care. So just save yourself the however many minutes of energy that it takes you to type out that comment, Karen, and just scroll on by. And then, of course, we all know white men are the most fucking miserable assholes on the face of this earth. And I've talked about that a lot because they like to come on here and try to drag you when you're not the perfect little white woman.
I'm gonna say this one time real loud with my full chest, so go ahead and hear me out on this one. If working is mandatory, if labor is something we are required to do in order to prove we deserve our existence, if we have no choice but to choose an occupation whether or not we want it, if you are forcing me to sell my body to do somebody else's labor and telling me I have no other choice and neither does anyone else, you shouldn't have any other choice but to give us a roof over our heads, food for our stomachs, and whatever else we need to survive! If you want us to be forced to work, but do not want to guarantee life necessities, that is slavery, you fuckwads! This country loves slavery, they just rebranded it! And don't tell me to leave! I would if I had the fucking money! But that's the whole point of this system, you dumb fucks! Fuck this country!
Hi, what's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel again. I know you have watched the video compilation of exactly what I prepared for you, and I know you have something to tell me. I know you have something to say. Please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Please share in the comment section. Always share. I love opinions. Different opinions matter. So for centuries, history has always written in the favor of the white people for generations that have passed, right? But now the truth is actually catching up. The lies, the oppression, the denial, they're finally catching up, and it's all haunting them. It's giving them sleepless nights. You can only bury guilt for so long before it starts actually eating you alive. You can't hide it for long. You cannot. So in this video, you've heard of how they say their own words, raw, unfiltered, and emotional. Some are finally admitting what their ancestors did wasn't just wrong, it was evil. Chai. It was pure evil, right? And the weight of that truth, it's destroying their peace. They're just being tormented by the actions their ancestors did to black communities. And you see, this isn't just about hate. We're not focusing on hate right now. No, it's about honesty, because they know the truth. They also know the history of their people. They know the truth. And because when you build a society on lies, stolen land, on blood, on just painful things, broken bodies, you don't expect to live in peace forever. No, you don't. History doesn't just disappear, it echoes and it follows you. And karma is always there. It's just encouraging that these people are able to actually just share it raw and unfiltered on what exactly they did to our ancestors, and they know their ancestors did the same, and the same thing is eating them alive. They can't be at peace now. The same system that once gave the white people power is eating them up from the inside. There's depression, they have confusion, they have identity crisis. They're finally feeling what it's like when the truth hits home. It's finally here, guys. They're now finally learning to confess and just to feel the same thing that black people felt during the time they were oppressing us. And while they struggle to face their past, we, the ones they tried to erase, are actually rising stronger, prouder, and louder than ever. Because the truth is power. And for too long, that power was stolen. So when you hear these confessions, please don't see it as weakness. See it as a revelation, as change. The world is changing, and those who built it on hate are finally being forced to face the mirror. This is the same thing that is happening to those MAGA voters and the farmers, especially. Tariffs are high, things are high. Like the world is just becoming different, right? It's high time. It's high time racism stops. People should take accountability and stand for what is right. Okay? Yeah. Stand for what is right every time. Yeah, so these white people, they did so much harm during the slavery. Do you know how much torture they left, the scars they have left to the black people, the black community? And especially those in black Americans, those in the United States and other countries. They faced it. They face it a lot. Imagine being kidnapped from your motherland, being taken to a country, and now building that nation, and then being treated as if you are on the wrong, being punished, doing hazardous work, being treated like animals, unclean people, killed, amputated, denied education, denied land, denied a lot of freedom of expression. I'm even shocked. These black people, we black, like, they let us believe in God, go to church, read the Bible, but they did not want us to go to school. Those sleepless nights that they're getting right now, it's not for granted, man. It's not. Our ancestors have been through it over and over. People were killed. For us who are remaining, it's just the grace of God that we were able to multiply and become a whole. Those in the United States, they've been so strong. They face so much. They have outdone themselves. We have black lawyers, doctors, blacks in every field. Why? They never gave up. And then you think that just because, I don't know. But the good thing is, they're now confessing that indeed, black community, our ancestors did you wrong. But is that enough? Is that enough? Because not all of them feel that same pain some of you are feeling. Not all of them is eating them from the inside. Some of them are actually, when they see us, they see violence, they see noise, they see, I don't know what to say, but it hurts. It really does hurt. It pains. That even if they're going through it, it's now eating them from the inside. I don't have much to say, but karma is always here. Yeah. But the good thing is that they're now accepting that they really did wrong to us, right? Finally, they've accepted it and they're asking for forgiveness. But where are our reparations? Black FBA, Black Americans deserve reparations. In the UK, they have a museum with a lot of artifacts from Africa. You're wondering, is this a museum about British American system, or is this a museum on African soil and etc.? Anyway, enough said. And oh my God, it can't be enough. We have the ICE. They're doing it again, but now in a reformed way. What do I mean reformed? In a more okay, not better, but advanced way of oppressing the black community. So I don't think these people have learned their lessons to treat people equally. They're still doing the same thing their ancestors did. Only a few, like the ones who have confessed. But who am I to speak, right? Please feel free to share whatever thought you have on the commentary. And please, if you know you're an FB, you're a Black American, any blacks all over the world, I do such videos just to encourage unity, that we as a black nation, we will stand and rise against inequality. Anyway, please, I want you to take care of yourself wherever you are, white, black, Indian, Asian. No, I don't care. So long as you deserve to be a good person, please take care of yourself and know that we are at 285 subs. We're headed to 1,000 subs, and only because of you. If you subscribe, share, and comment, like. I love you. Take care of yourself. Bye.